Good evening, everyone. And nobody there. Even Big Morgan's not been on yet to say hello. He always comes on and says hello before I start. So where have you gone, Big Morgan? You let me down. You're watching England and Germany, aren't you? I'm going to make sure I'm off before the England-Germany game or just as it's coming on, guys. So just be a shorter one tonight. So we can have a chat about that if you want. Obviously, we'll talk about Derby Day, which isn't far away, is it? That'll soon be upon us. Less than a week now. So that'll be good. I put out a little History Boys feature on the one back in 2000 and was it 2003, 2004? I've lost what it is now. 2003 was it? I can't. Let me check. Let me check what it was. 2000. Told you my memory's rubbish. You don't believe me. It's terrible. Let's have a look. Yeah, 2004. Useless. Morning, Blackpool. How are you? Yeah, I'm losing my breath. I put a vlog out and I forgot what date it was. Hello, Vicky. Are you okay? Big Morgan, you're late. Where have you been? Have you been looking at the England team for tonight? Hope you're all okay. Any of you watching the match later? Say I'll keep this to 45 minutes so you can watch Ilkay Gundogan turn us over. That'll be good. So who do you cheer on? Do you cheer Foden, Stones and Gundogan? As long as them three play all right, that's all I care about. What about you guys? Ironing my Germany top. Which one is it, Big Morgan? Which one? The 1966 one or one of the more modern ones with the collars and the red? Remember that with the red stripe across it or something like that? Blackpool, Vicky, Big Morgan, come on. What was your first derby? Which your first derby you went to? 1990, Big Morgan. They won it then, didn't they? 1990? Or was that when Argentina won it? Or was that the one before? Not bad, thanks. Antibiotics and eardrops has got another ear infection, Vicky. Well, stop poking your ears, love. You must be poking your ears too much. Blackpool, we're watching the game, but got to nip my lad to work first. Bloody nuisance. Here's a bloody nuisance, Blackpool. Can he not make his own way? 1990 top. Right, guys, come on, tell me, what was your first derby match? Live or on telly, it doesn't matter. What's your memories? What's your derby memories? Let me know, Vicky. Blackpool, Big Morgan's, only three of you on at the moment, so quality, not quantity, as we say. You have to let me know what it was. My first home one, I have no idea whatsoever. It was in the mid-60s, probably. The first one I can remember was one in the Kippax when we had a piece of string up the Kippax separating United and City fans. I was about 10, 11 or 12 then, I think it was, and it all kicked off as it bound to, you know. Big Morgan, 1986, 2-2 Old Trafford, only City supporter in the stand. Which stand was it, Big Morgan? I think I've been all around Old Trafford over the years from when I first went. I can remember my first Old Trafford one because that was an easy one. That was Dennis Law's back heel, of course. That was my first, so that was an easy one to remember. Met Joe Corrigan. Well, he won me a radio cassette player, Big Morgan. I must have told you about that at the Manchester City Social Club. And we used to do the scratch card. I used to be an agent for the Quicksilver. I used to go and collect all the money off the guys who sold these tickets, lottery tickets, scratch cards. And I used to be the guy who went around and collected all the money off them. And obviously I was in this competition and Joe Corrigan won me a radio cassette player. I used that for years. Record the top 20 on Radio 1 or top 40, whatever it was, where you had to try and get it before he started chatting. You had to sort of record it. You're far too young, Vicky. You won't remember. You used to have to press record and get it just right so you didn't get the guy talking over the song. I was only blue on the boat. What boat? What boat's this? Blackpool. Can't remember my first, but remember being in Yugoslavia on honeymoon for the 89-5-1. Never forgettable. Yeah, well, I was at that one, mate. I bet you were gutted, but I enjoyed your holiday anyway. Vicky, still not been to Manchester Derby, but one of my favourites when City thrashed the Wingies. I think the score was 6-1. Is that one at Old Trafford? The Old Trafford one, Vicky? Obviously, that's fairly new, isn't it? 2012 to 11, 12, something like that. On my own to Belfast. Right, okay. Yeah, I can't remember the first one I watched on telly. They didn't usually show them on telly, did they? Me, John Bond's son. John Bond's son. On the way home to Belfast, me, John Bond's son. Kevin Bond. Yes, I know who Kevin Bond is. Yes, I know who that is. So what's the Croatia now in sitting all different things? Andy, how you doing, mate? Andy's on. Andy's in the house. Andy, what was your first memories of Derbies? What was the first one you went to? Remember the last one? In Old Trafford, I think I've been in all 4, 5, 6, about 6 different places in Old Trafford over the years. The first year in '74 was supposed to be in this scoreboard. But we went in. There was no City fans in sight. They're all United fans. I couldn't believe it. I don't know where it was all ticket. It was an all-ticket match in '74. So what happened to the City fans? I don't know. We walked in to just get a massive United fans. I think it was Montenegro. Well, Well, I'm thinking about because we went to the Adriatic Riviera. We went to near Rimini in 1975, and obviously, you know, with a pair of binoculars and a following wind, you could see Yugoslavia across the water. Yeah, 211, 12. Yeah, Vicky, I told you I'm useless. Unless I've got my books in front of me and my reference books, I'm no good on dates. I'm rubbish. That's why I'm never any good in quizzes. I hate it when anyone says, "Oh, let's do a quiz." I don't mind doing the questions, but I'm knackered when it comes to answers. 1981, Martin O'Neill debut, Brian Robson. I was probably at that one, Andy. 81, I think. Was that the main road one or the Old Trafford one? I mean, there's 80s, 90s. I was going Old Trafford. I always used to have to get in the United end, unfortunately, which wasn't. I've been spat on a few times, but that's about the worst. I can't help myself. Clapping if we score a goal. I just can't stop myself, and I've survived. I'm here. Main road, Andy. Yeah, 81. Let me have a look for you, Andy. What? So that was 1981. 0-0. Let me have a look in my book. I've got Gary James's book here. 0-0 United. Let's have a look. We drew 2-2 at Old Trafford, if it's that season. 1-1-0 at R, so it might have been the season after. We won 1-0 at 80-81. 81-82. Yeah, home drew 0-0. You're quite right. Good memory. Good memory, Andy. And Martin O'Neill's debut. Let me have a look. Well, it was Martin O'Neill's Derby debut, mate. But he'd obviously been playing for us. He was playing for us already by that time. Got my little thingy book there. 182 was my game. Main road, yeah. Yeah, so I think, it's Martin O'Neill's possibly Derby debut, mate. I don't think he was there the season before, was he? No, he wasn't there the season before, Martin O'Neill. Yeah, Big Morgan, no problem. 1982 was my game, yeah. Guys, any of you at the 6? Were any of you actually at the 6-1? I watched it on telly. Anyone there? Any Big Morgan, Andy? Anyone at the 6-1 at Old Trafford? I know Vicky wasn't. She watched. That was the first one she remembers watching on telly. Yes, Big Morgan. I'd love another 6-1 on Sunday as well. I hope we actually tear them apart. I hope we actually go and really do the business. I do. My lad hates My lad doesn't think the fans should be in our ground. He just hates the sight of them. I try and keep him calm because he just can't stand looking at United fans in our ground. He just doesn't like it. He's not happy with it. I was wearing the Saab. Yeah, I haven't got any tops with Saab on, Big Morgan, or any replica tops with Saab on. I don't think I could afford tops at that time when Saab was going. I don't think I had any retro kits, any kits then. A lot of time I just couldn't afford it. You know, money was tight. Hat-trick from Ireland and a couple from Foden would be nice, wouldn't it? Hat-trick from Ireland, says Vicky. Andy made a bit of a knob of myself on my first trip to Old Toilet. Interviewed on Sky by Elton Wellesby. Yeah, Elton Wellesby. And City would win, but we lost 5-0. Oh, I was at the 5-0 one, Andy. I was in with United fans. I didn't have to clap that game, did I? I didn't have to give away who I was, but I didn't jump up and down, that's for sure. They replied, my prediction at full time. Yeah, 1994. Let's see how far out you are, Andy, with 1994 on that one. Let's have a quick look. 1994, Old Trafford. Let's have a look. Well, we lost at home 3-2. Remember, was that the one where we were 2-0 up? 2-0 up, and then we lost 3-2. 2-0 up at half time. We lost 3-2. And away, lost 2-0 away, 93-94. Lost 94-95. Yeah, 94-95, mate. Yes, we lost 5-0 on the 10th of November. 10th of November, mate. So you got a good memory there. Well done. You're spot on. 94-95 season. So you're okay. That's fine. November 1994. You're spot on. Big Morgan, yeah, I treat him like chud. It's just horrible. Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, we've got some at work, and I try and be grown up with them. If we win, I don't rub the noses in it, and then I just appreciate if they're the same to me. If they actually manage to beat us, Blackpool. Mrs. was playing at Tranmere Rose when we won 6-1, so we've gone to watch her. It was great as her manager was a Big Red. Good day out. Yeah, who was it? Remember, guys, who was it? Playing after City that day, because I remember someone stood in the tunnel and they were being told the score and they couldn't believe it. That it was 6-1, and it just rings a bell. And they stood in the tunnel chatting, and someone said City had won 6-1, and they were all flummoxed in the tunnel. There was a match afterwards on telly, and I just remember seeing it on various social media things. Big Morgan, Arsenal. What about Arsenal, Big Morgan? Yeah, I don't. We have a lot of United fans at work, and just who they are, aren't they? I mean, I remember walking down the street, and if I had my City shirt on in the 80s, 90s, you always had to make a comment. That's what they're like, and they still do it now. I mean, you got nothing to brag about, and they'll still make a comment now. I just don't understand them. I've done it a couple of times myself to United fans saying, what's that bit of shit on your shirt, something like that. And that's what I used to get. So, but I feel a bit childish doing it, so I don't do it that often. But you still get, United fans now coming out with the crap, even though they've been rubbish for 10 years. It's just ridiculous. Arsenal and Big Morgan, thank you. Yes, thank you. So it was the Arsenal and Spurs game. Yeah, I just remember the faces when someone said to me it was, they sort of had to double take 6-1. 6-1. Yeah, so I remember that. Cheers, Big Morgan. Vicky, my ex-husband's son from his first marriage supports United. Apparently, he's not impressed with me supporting City. But yeah, of course he can get stuffed. I mean, what's it got to do with him? But is your ex-husband's son, love? It don't matter, does it? Yeah, Blackpool, that's it. You still get it now. You still get it. I mean, there's just that arrogance about them. And even the young ones who've never seen them win anything. I mean, we've got 18, 19-year-olds. My fiance's family are all pretty much United fans. And the grandson, we went to a funeral the other week, and he was just giving it out about City. And he's 18. He's not seen them win anything. And he was giving me crap, total crap about it. And, I just ignored him because of who he is. But, I mean, it's just how they are. And it's just how they're dragged up. Andy Ragg, top 5 derbies I've been to. Number 1, the 5-1. Yeah. Number 2, 1-0 in 2012. Number 3, 3-1 in 2002. Number 4, last season. Yeah, I enjoyed last season's. Number 5, 4-1 in 2013. But you've been doing some studying, Andy, haven't you? Is that off the top of your head, or have you been actually checking up on this? It's funny, actually. If any of you follow Wazza on Twitter, is it Wazza? He was commenting about the 3-3 game many, many moons ago when George Best was playing, and he was saying about a thrilling game. I said it wasn't a thrilling game. We should have, we drew against them. It's not good enough. That's piss poor. I mean, we should have beat them. We always beat United when Best was playing. Best hardly ever beat City when United hardly ever beat City when George Best was playing. We always stuffed them. So yeah, it wasn't a thrilling game for me as a City fan. I remember I was disappointed that we only drew 3-3. I was gutted. I think that's how it should be, isn't it, guys? I don't care about the neutral supporter. I care about us beating United. That's all that matters to me. Andy, I'm a bit anal, yeah. I remember watch every game I've been to. Oh, that's superb, Andy. I tell you what, Andy, I used to sit in pubs with my mates that I used to go to all the games with, and they used to reminisce about matches and places I'd been. And I had no idea. I what most of what they were saying, I just couldn't remember. I just couldn't. I mean, a lot of it I was probably too drunk anyway, because it was obviously not the greatest time in the 80s and 90s. But I just can't remember. I just can't remember the games. I can remember certain things about travelling to the games and if there's any trouble, stuff like that. But they talk about, like you, Andy, there, you probably remember goals and stuff. I'm useless unless I look back at something. And obviously, if I'm researching a game, I'll look into it and oh yeah, I remember that. But you know, so if something happens, I'll remember it. But I've always had a poor memory. It's not because of my age. It's just I've always had a poor memory anyway. Big Morgan, Andy, lucky man, I forgot where I parked my car. Well, yeah, we went to had to go to the hospital the other day, and we got two keys. We got one with a hob on that flashes, and we got a normal one. And I took my normal one. And then coming back to the car park afterwards, it's about 20 floors. I couldn't quite remember. If he had my hob, it would have flashed at me. Well, I only had my manual one, so it took me about 10 minutes to find my car. So there you go, Big Mortgage. Not only you, mate. Yeah, Andy was most of it. I remember, Andy, do you remember the old days? You could take your beer onto the Kippax. You take your pint into the Kippax. Vicky, you're too young. You wouldn't know these things like this. And I used to have in the winter, I don't know, I used to for a long time, I wore a donkey jacket as well. And they're not particularly warm donkey jackets. I don't know why I had a donkey jacket on. And I'd stand in the Kippax like this with my arm like that, with my hand with the beer like this. And we never scored, so we never went up in the air because we never scored any goals anyway. But I just remember being a constant freezing cold, having my beer stood in the Kippax. Vicky said, used to love Stato on fantasy football. Yeah, I should bring something like that back, Vicky. It was good fun. Although it's probably had its day now, hasn't it? Oh, it's in the garage. All right, Big Morgan. As long as it's not in prestige car repairs, you're all right. I am Big Morgan. Yes, I will be there. I'm a season card holder, mate. So I'm at all the old home games. I've got a promise, actually. I've got a promise for some more tickets for away games as well, because I've only got about 8,000 points, so I don't get too many away games. But someone at work's promised me that, you know, there's a lot of games they don't go to. And I can have. They got 26,000. They got 26,000 points. So if they don't fancy going to a game, I'll give them a list of what I want to go to. So I might be able to sneak a few more away games than I did. I've only been to the Charity Community Shield this year. That's all I've been able to get to so far. Yeah, has he still got it, Vicky? Yeah, they weren't that warm, you know. They looked the part, but I don't think they were overly warm because I was always freezing. Andy, the number of pints I lost on the Kippax, a human side that took you down a dozen steps and showered the bloke in front with green holes. Well, it's probably the best place for green holes, Andy, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Shocking, Vicky. I've heard fantasy football is coming back unless that's just yeah. I mean, the thing is with these, Vicky, they need to bring them back, but totally adapt them in some way because they're never going to be the same. Best thing you could do with your green alleys, Andy. They are green alleys, Andy. Green alleys, green holes, right? Green holes. Sorry, Blackpool. Stop writing in code, mate. I'm struggling here. Best thing you could do with green holes, Andy. Yeah, throw it on to someone else. Throw it on to United fan or something like that. Dex's Midnight Runners. They did wear donkey jackets. Indeed, Dex's. Yeah, of course they did. Always wore donkey jackets, yeah. But anyone else had a donkey jacket? Was it me who just was cold in him? Were they actually warm for people? It was just me that probably suffered. Well, we're looking what we think about the team for United. Everyone's fit, guys. I've put a team on my little preview, which will be out in 2 or 3 days. What we're going for? Edison, Cancelo, Walker, Akanji, and Diaz. How about that? Back five. What do you think, guys? Akanji and Diaz. Centre halves with Cancelo and Walker. Yeah, because Big Morgan, I didn't need to wear one. I worked in an office, so I think he inherited it from my brother. And I just thought, oh, looks cool for going to the football match with me. I don't think it had to be Doc Martens on then. I think that was a few years earlier, wasn't it? But I thought I looked cool in a donkey jacket. So I used to, it's the only big coat I had, Big Morgan. I was quite poor, Big Morgan. And when I was quite poor in the 70s and 80s. When I had a young family, I was, it was hard work. Well, I thought Diaz played all right, Blackpool against Wolves. I watched the game twice, and I thought he played okay. So I think he'll play Diaz. I think Stones will miss out, and Aki will miss out as well. Walker's on the bench tonight, Vicky. Yeah, he is. So hopefully we might need his pace if Rashford's up to any mischief. He had a good game against Arsenal, I believe, didn't he? I backed a Candy score. You didn't, Big Morgan. Oh, on Sunday, I thought you meant you backed him for Switzerland the other night when he scored a goal. But why not? Yeah, he's in my odds show. I've done an odds show. I've put his price. I think you're right there, about 22-1. I think it was on the. I put him as an outside chance on the odds show that's coming out in a couple of days. Yeah, so that's my back at 5. Edison, Cancelo, Walker, Diaz and Stones. It's got to be Rodri, hasn't it? Rodri in front, and then KDB and Bernardo. Any different to that, guys? KDB and Bernardo and Rodri, the next 3? Yes, for the Swiss, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was a header, wasn't it? It was a header as well. Aki got a knock against Belgium, so I don't think. Yeah, I saw when he went off at half-time, Blackpool, didn't he? But he wouldn't have played anyway. He wouldn't have been playing against United. I think he's been very unlucky, don't get me wrong, to not feature, but I don't think Aki would have been playing against United, and not in a cat and L's chance. So Rodri, KDB, Bernardo, are we all happy with that? Any dissenter to that? I mean, Gundo might have a cracking game tonight, might he, for Germany, but Gundo and Palmer's the only other 2 guys there I'm thinking of could pop in, but I doubt it. Just coke this, guys. Could have done with a tot of whiskey now, actually. I think I'm just in the mood tonight. I've had a bit of a cold coming, I think. I need a bit of what's called it, a bit of like Yates's blob or something, one of them, the old blobs, remember them? Phillips is a sick, well, Big Morgan, he's got to be out till at least, probably won't see him before the World Cup, and they'll go straight over there and play for England. You probably won't get to see him. Was he injury prone at Leeds, guys? Anyone remember if Phillips was injury prone at Leeds? I don't ever remember him. I mean, he was one of their big main players, wasn't he? Back 5, I was swapping Stones for a Akanji. Yeah, I mean, I love Stones, Andy. You know that. I love Stones to bits. I just think Akanji's Pep's man at the moment. I think Pep has these guys that once they get in that team, they're very hard to dislodge. And I think Akanji's doing that, at that state. Yes, he was injured a lot. All right, well, there you go, Blackpool. Why do we buy players who get injured a lot? Certainly as backup. What the use is a backup if he's injured? I mean, what is the point? I know Rodri's a fit lad. Fingers crossed. I don't want to worry that. Rodri's a fit lad and seems to do okay. But what's the point of buying a backup player if he's going to be injured all the time? Because he's not going to get regular games, so that's more likely he's going to get injured. There's no logic. The new Santa Cruz, it's not that bad, Big Morgan, I don't think. Phillips, new Santa Cruz. About the front 3, guys. Give me your front 3. I won't tell you who I've picked. Who's your front 3? I mean, obviously one of them's a cert. I think another one's a fairly cert as well. Two Manchester City, young Manchester City fans, I think, are fairly certain to start the game. But obviously, who's going to partner them? Who's going to be up front with the 2 young City fans up front? Is he going to stick with Grealish? Putting a lot of faith in Grealish at the moment. It's getting a lot of comments about Grealish in this court case I'm doing at the moment. What it's got to do with it, I have no idea. The fact he was there's no implication that there was any involvement, but even the attorneys are mentioning his name a lot, as though it's some bearing on the case. Very odd. Phillips just played 1 minute only 1 minute, mate. Oh, so that's 1 minute more perhaps than he should have done. Andy says Haaland, Foden and Grealish. Well, I think that's more or less what my preview show pick is, Andy. I think but he likes Mahrez. Well, there you go. Big Morgan's gone for Mahrez. See, Mahrez used to be his go-to, certainly for a derby game, Mahrez. But, you know, again, with Pep, with the Kanji, I think Pep, he could stick Grealish in. He could stick Grealish in. But Big Morgan's quite right with Mahrez. What do you think, Vicky? Jack wasn't even at City when it happened, surely. Yeah, he was, Vicky. Yeah, because it goes up to last seat. What date is it? August 21, I think. The last thing, Vic. So yeah, he was just about there. He'd just come. Blackpool Mahrez would stink the place out, I think. I don't know. He used to be his go-to guy, didn't he? He used to always play. If we played United, you could always bet that Mahrez was going to play. But as I said, I just think whether Pep's going to, you know, put his mouth where he's, you know, put his thing where his mouth is and play Grealish, because he's been defending him, hasn't he, recently? So that was it. So yeah, Mahrez has to say, yeah. I mean, Mahrez is getting a bit of stick, and he's not getting the game time, is he? And I think he will come good in the same way Gundogan gets a lot of stick and ends up on the bench. Then all of a sudden he turns into a player that you think you can't play without, and then obviously you end up playing without him like we have been doing recently. So it's just odd with City players. They seem to float in and out sometimes. Andy, Mendy and Grealish as sub, played first match at Spurs last season. Yeah. Yeah, they are, Vicky. Yeah, so it just does cover the start before he was suspended, and it all came to light, of course. I mean, it goes back to 2018 to case, but it goes to August 2021. So, you know, it covers 3 or 4 years. Blackpool wouldn't stick him in this game, though, would be suicidal. Mahrez, you're saying Blackpool, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Again, Blackpool, he might raise his game. I mean, Mahrez might raise his game against United, but I mean, Foden and Haaland are shoo-ins, aren't they? Is anyone? There's no one else, is there? Who else have we got? We've got no one else up front, have we? That's basically it. Mahrez or Grealish, is it? There's no one else could come into the reckoning. What about United? Are they good? I mean, has old Ten Bob Hag got a decent thing out of them? Anyone watch them against Arsenal? I didn't see it. Arsenal, for me, had more possession. I just looked at the statistics. I know they don't mean that much, but they had more possession, more shots. They just couldn't put the ball in the net. Anyone watch the Arsenal United game? Because that's a lot. Obviously, I didn't see they played Real Sociedad, of course, as well. How about that game? I think they put a bit of a changed team out for that one, though, didn't they? Anyone watch Sociedad against United or Arsenal against United? Rather play Palmer than Mahrez, Blackpool. Yeah, but trouble with Palmer, mate, he's going to. I think he gives the ball away too much for Pep to trust him in a big game like this, because he lets him have his head, and if he lets Palmer have his head, he's going to take chances and lose the ball in certain points. And you don't want to be losing the ball too much against United, because it can punish us on the break, of course. Is Oliver refereeing it, Big Morgan? I was looking the other day, I couldn't see the officials. I'll check that tomorrow and do my little graphics and stuff for that. Sociedad were excellent against United, as was Silva. There you go, Blackpool. As I say, I think it was a slightly weaker United team to what he played against Arsenal from memory. Palmer's only young. Yeah, he is, Vicky. He's got plenty of time to. And when Pep plays him, he lets him take the chances and lose. You know, does the right thing. And I think it'll be. You know, even next season, he might be too early for him as well. Hardy. Right, I'm trying to figure out who Hardy is, Big Morgan. Hardy's doing VAR. Hardy. Is this like Laura and Hardy? You got it, Big Morgan. You've got me on this one. Hardy. Who's Hardy, guys? Come on, who's Big Morgan on about doing VAR? I won't mind Taylor doing it. You know, I think he refs all right now. Oliver Hardy. Yeah, but Oliver, right? Okay, Big Morgan. Yeah, you don't half put me through it, mate. Oliver. So Oliver's reffing it, and Oliver Hardy's on VAR. So there we go. Oliver's reffing it. Hardy's on VAR. So I don't know. I know who's on VAR, Big Morgan. You know, it's just a joke, isn't it? Is Oliver actually reffing it, or are you just winding me up? You bugger. So do this to me. I was up at 2 o'clock this morning, guys. You got to be kind. Tommy Cooper's a linesman. Well, this is just getting worse now, isn't it? That's that. Who's making the coffee? Yeah, well, that's it, Blackpool. Yeah, who's making the coffee for the VAR guy? That's the most important role. At least you watch me vlogs, Blackpool. Much appreciated. Thank you. Oliver is. Oh, I don't know who's reffing out. I did it yesterday. I started my preview yesterday, and I looked for the officials, and I didn't have them up yesterday, so I couldn't figure out. Michael Oliver reminds me of an annoying guy I work with. Yeah, Vicky, does he have his Liverpool shirt on? That's probably what it is. I've got that great image of him with his Liverpool top on, Michael Oliver. You know, I thought the refs have been okay this season, guys. We've not had any big problems, have we? I don't think. I think we got away with a couple of things. I don't think it's too big a problem this season. I think we've been fine. Andy, our recollection night during the post Sheikman it isn't Andy, but we stuffed them last year, so I'm going on the momentum now from last year. But it's not bad either, considering the trophies we've won over the past decade. You expect a greater head-to-head win rate. Yeah, we're still 20 down, aren't we, on totals? I think we've won 57 derbies, they've won 77. It would have been nice to close that a bit, wouldn't it, over the last few years? But our form at the Etihad against them has been pretty shocking, hasn't it? So even though we've been beating them at the Swamp, they've still got the better of us at the Etihad. So we've not managed to close it. It's closed a little bit, I think. But yeah, a bit disappointing that, you know, we're so superior. You know, I know they say form goes out the window in a derby game, but I'm not having that. I mean, how many times did City play United when City were the worst team? We got stuffed. I mean, it's as simple as that. They used to beat us. We won the odd one or two, of course we did, when we were rubbish. But I'm not having that. I'm not having form goes out the window. The better team usually wins a derby unless they're unlucky or they get robbed. Hope we don't get Foden injured tonight. Well, I'll be watching it. Hoping he doesn't get injured, mate. Big Morgan. I know to the guy at work. He supports Chelsea, Vicky. Yeah, it's funny. I used to sort of work with a guy who supports Chelsea, and he lives in Manchester, but I don't know what that's about. The 68 to 74. Well, Andy, that's what I was saying before. When City used to play, you had your Bell, Lee and Summerby, and you had your Best, Law and Charlton. We always used to beat them. When I was going to school as a kid, it was just normal that we beat them. It wasn't unusual. We did it every time. Best, I think I did a little analysis a couple of years back for something. I think Best was on the winning side against us like once or twice or something. I don't think he was on the winning side against us that much because we sort of won most of them. Big Morgan, yeah. Big Morgan says, what do you think of Watford sacking the manager? Well, I didn't. I mean, I saw a name today and I thought I didn't even know he was the manager. So, I mean, he's played 10 games and they've lost 2, and he's just a bit behind Burnley, aren't they? So, Big Morgan, I don't know. What is the point? I mean, obviously, who are they run by Watford? What sort of conglomerate is it? Are the Americans? What sort of nationality are they? Just ridiculous. I mean, what do they expect? Slaven Bilic. Well, yeah, he's been involved in managers before, hasn't he, Vicky? Slaven Bilic. I can't remember. Did he do West Ham? Did he manage West Ham, guys? Slaven Bilic? Am I getting that wrong? I say, you know, my memory. Yeah, but I said I didn't know the name of this guy who got sacked. I'd never heard of him at Watford. Never heard of the bloke. So I don't know where he'd come from. I don't really watch. I mean, I used to watch. What channel is it on now? The Nationwide, the Championship. What was it on Nationwide? How old am I? Nationwide, the Championship. What? because I used to watch the highlights, and I forgot I've not watched it recently. It used to be on. I don't know what it's on now. I can't find the highlights, guys. Let me know. Watford had more managers than Elton's had hair transplants. Is he still around there, Andy? Does he still get involved? Very wealthy Italian, says Big Morgan, own Watford. They own a few clubs. Well, and you got your fingers in loads of different pots. I mean, I know we got the City group, but I mean that's a slightly different thing, isn't it? Yeah, Vicky said West Ham, West Brom, and Everton. Yeah, well, I thought West Ham and West Brom. Yeah, I think you're right, Vicky. I think you're spot on with West Brom as well. I'm not sure about Everton, whether any of the other guys know, but yeah, Vicky. Yeah, but obviously he's not been doing English football recently, has he? I don't think. That's for sure. But yeah, Watford, it's just a disgrace. It's just ridiculous. I just assumed they had a temporary manager in and they've just let him go or something. You know, if he's actually physically been sacked, he was on a contract. That's just absolute joke. It really is a joke. Played for Everton once. Maybe I'm getting confused. Don't worry, Vicky. I think you're spot on with West Ham and West Brom anyway. That's for sure. He's still standing. Andy Ragg, he's still all right. Okay, Andy, Big Morgan's catching. Andy, you're catching some of Big Morgan's wit now. Behave. He's still standing. No, I'm still standing. I used to like Elton John music in the 70s. I used to have Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, the album. You lot probably too young to remember albums. Great cover. I used to listen with a few mates to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and David Bowie, Aladdin Sane. All the good stuff. I didn't probably appreciate it as much as I did as I got older, but yeah, brilliant. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Are you ready for Sunday? Are you still Big Morgan? Are you ready for Sunday Love? Who are you talking to, Big Morgan? Sunday Love. Is that so? I call people love at work, the men at work, and if I don't know that, and even people I don't know, and they say, "Did you say love?" I said, "No, I said bud." Get your ears washed out. Don't mention ears to Vicky. Please don't mention ears to Vicky. Still got a few vinyl albums. I bought the very first Now album back in 1980s, Vicky. Well, I've thought of buying myself a record. You know these little record players you can buy. The little makes, aren't they? There's a name. I can't remember the name now, Vicky. I've thought of buying one and getting some albums, you know, just for the sake of it. But I've no bloody money, so I don't even know why I'm worried. You know, you dream of what you might buy, and I'm dreaming of buying a record player. Elton John ready for love. I'm sure he is. He's ready for summit. He must be knocking on a bit now, mustn't he? Andy saw him twice. One gig right after Watford. Got the 84 FA Cup final. Well, a Watford top throughout the gig. Well, why not, mate? If it's your team, the Gallaghers do it, don't they? Why not? Boxers do it. They wear the trunks with the club's crests on, like Mr. Anthony Thythian, and of course the other guy in Hatton. K-Tel in our day. K-Tel, loved the K-Tel, Andy. Used to buy them. All the great songs, but done by rubbishy groups, guys. Vicky, you won't know what K-Tel was. Big Morgan, you're far too young for K-Tel. I got a record player for Chris. You haven't used it yet. What's the use of that? If you got vinyl, Vicky, get it used. Get it set up. And I used to. My first wife, we used to sit in the front room. We had a radiogram in my nan. All the guys will know what a radiogram is. Well, you probably won't. And we used to sit there singing Grease and Saturday Night Fever to each other, all the tunes. Oh, happy days. I got a record player for Christmas. Yeah, K-Tel, I slept with her. Big Morgan. They're always lowering it. Anyone watch this new A League of Their Own thing, the new series on Amazon about the baseball? I watched the film with Tom Hanks, brilliant film. Anyone been watching The League of Our Own on Amazon recently? So I'll just say it's a weird. I like it, but they're just throwing lesbian sex scenes at you all the time in it. It's just a bit of a weird thing. I mean, what's the need? I don't understand the need for it. What's it trying to prove? Is it trying to be edgy? I don't know. Andy Ragg, all world record players with stats several 40. Yeah, and then they come down and they drop down. Yeah, but sometimes they wouldn't grip. So like the fourth or the fifth one, you'd have it on and it'd be slipping and sliding because it wouldn't grip on the other records. So what was your first record, guys? I know this. We talked about the derby. We've agreed on the team, haven't we? What was your first record? Vicky, Big Morgan, Andy, Blackpool. What was the first record you remember owning or buying? I'll tell you mine now. I got it off my sister. And it was a record by The Love Affair, if you know it, called Everlasting Love. And it was an orange label. And it was the first record I owned. And then I started buying my own little singles after that. But Everlasting Love by The Love Affair. They play it at work sometimes, so I sing along like an idiot. But good memories. And I think it was an orange label in the middle bit was an orange label. My Sweet Lord, George Harrison, 1971, Andy. Absolutely brilliant. I used to do my own top 20. I used to buy one record a week from the local paper shop that did singles. So I used to buy one a week. And then I used to do my own top 10, top 20 on my radio. I had a radio going upstairs in my bedroom. So it must have been fun for people listening outside the bedroom door because I'm a right idiot. I used to do introductions like a DJ. And then I used to score the records. And every week, if a record went down, say got 10 points, the week after, if it was a week old, it lost half a point. So obviously, my favourite records didn't always stay at the top because as I bought new records, they went above it and stuff like that. And that was me, guys. Pretty. I did have mates, but obviously I like my own space as well. So Andy Ragg was My Sweet Lord, George Harrison, Big Morgan, stiff little fingers, Suspect Device. Yes, Stiff Little Fingers are a group. Yes, Big Morgan, all right. And Suspect Device was the name of the song. What year was that? Vicky, first album I bought myself was the First Now album. First single I remember was Super Trooper. Oh, Vicky Alba, don't get me going on ABBA. I was on Spotify at work. I had my earplug in and they had the ABBA musical on. I was listening to it and I was singing along. Everyone must have thought I was bloody lunatic in work. Andy, take top 20 every Sunday with Fluff Freeman, not half pop pickers. We used to all do that, mate, on a Sunday. Winter Soldier, you all right, mate? We have been talking about United. How are you? Are you all right? We got onto records because we put the derby to rest. We've beat them 4-0. Yeah, that's point. Give us a prediction, guys. What score are we going for before we go? Because I know some of you want to watch this England-Germany match. What score are we going for, guys? What score are you going for, Winter Soldier derby on Saturday? Before we wrap it up and go and cheer on Gundogan, Foden and Stones. That's all I'm watching it for. I'm going to go for 3-0. 3-0, guys. 3-2 for the Winter Soldier. Brilliant, Winter Soldier. That'll do for me. 5-0 for City, says Big Morgan. Andy, bloody hell, that's a bit, it's a bit tight. That's a bit nervy. 2-1. Grealish. At least you give us the scorers, I suppose. Vicky's gone for 5-0 with a Haaland hat-trick and 2 from Foden, Vicky, yeah? Is that what we're going for? 3 from Haaland, 2 from Foden. That'll good. And they can wear the City scarves and bring them on the pitch, can't they? That'd be even better, wouldn't it? That'd be even great because as long as we beat them, guys, that's all that matters. We've just got to beat them. Stuff them like we did last season. That's all there is to it. Right, guys, look, I'm going to get off early today because I know you want to watch this football, some of you. So my thank you to Winter Soldier, 2 from Foden. Thank you to Winter Soldier, a late arrival. Cheers, mate. Come back on a bit earlier next week when we'll have a look at the derby, have a look back. So I'll see you, Vicky. See you, Blackpool. See you, Big Morgan. See you, Andy. And let's cheer on Germany, eh? That'll be fantastic. It'll be over by half time. Yeah, what, the Germany, England, or City? All right, guys. Cheers, Winter Soldier. Great to see you. Sorry we were just going off, but it's a shorter one with the football being on. Thanks, guys. I will see you all soon. And as I say, stay safe. Bye, guys.